President Trump, he's ready to pounce on Joe Biden, flip-flopping on Joe Biden's policies. Here's a policy that has kept the U.S. from plunging into recession. It's about the U.S. oil boom. The oil boom in the U.S. has created millions of jobs, changed the geopolitical landscape, put food on the table for workers. But watch Joe Biden tell voters in Pennsylvania he's now for and supports fracking when he was against it. Watch this.
I am not banning fracking. Let me say that again. I am not banning fracking.
Okay, but here's Biden saying, yeah, I am against fracking. Watch this.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those. Anybody who could go down 300 to 3,000 feet in the mine sure and hell can learn how to program as well. Give me a break. Anybody who can throw coal into a furnace can learn how to program, for God's sake.
I'm talking about stopping fracking as soon as we possibly can. No ifs, buts, and maybes about it. I'm talking about speaking to China. Well, I'm not sure your proposal does that.
No new fracking.
Let's welcome Texas Republican Brian Babin. Should there be a fact checker on Joe Biden at the debate, sir?
Well, I really could not agree more that there needs to be a fact checker there. And let me just say this: our industry in our state is greatly dependent upon fossil fuels, and fracking is a huge part of that. We've just come off of Hurricane Laura. It's hit my district. I've been traveling all over it today and the last few days. The president was even down here. And we told him when he was in Orange, Texas, that fossil fuel exploration, the oil and gas industry, including fracking, was absolutely necessary. And Joe Biden is classic double speak. And when he says, he was for it before he was against it, I can tell you it's going to cost the American Texas and other oil-producing states millions of jobs. It's going to keep us from being energy independent. And quite frankly, this is something that I shudder to think that he would do this. And let me say one other thing, because his bureaucrats that he will bring into his administration, he doesn't have to ban fracking. They can do it through the bureaucracy. They will make permitting processes so burdensome that you'll never get a permit to frack, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Congressman, President Trump has created 500,000 factory jobs in the country. There's also generational highs in the onshoring of jobs moving here from overseas. Joe Biden is talking about shovel-ready jobs when President Obama joked that wasn't true. We didn't create, quote, shovel-ready jobs in the 2009 $900 billion stimulus that Biden is now saying he managed. Even President Barack Obama himself admitted that the shovel-ready jobs did not exist, that the $900 billion went to things like cash for flunkers, bankrupt energy companies. Also, they were trapped at at the state and local level, trapped in, at the administrative level. The money really didn't get out into the U.S. economy. We had seen that under the Reagan administration. The question is, what are Joe Biden's job policies? Because Obama made him the job czar at one point in 2014, said, go study federal job training programs. Joe Biden studied it, came back, said they don't work. So, what are Joe Biden's job policies?
We really don't know. I mean, he's all over the board. I have a ton of manufacturing jobs, as I said just a second ago. We've got more petrochemical refining plants and facilities in my district than anyone else in this country. And shovel-ready jobs, we found out, was a myth. And if this was Biden's and Obama's idea of a success for that stimulus package, which was nearly $1 trillion, then I shudder to think what a real success would look like. So all I can say is I hope the American people realize that the only thing that's going to save our jobs, our economy, and make America safe again is reelecting this president that's already in there. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. Okay. President Obama used to talk about, quote, train and pray. I mean, that seemed like to be A lot of discussion last administration. Congressman Brian Babin, it's always great to see you. Come back soon, okay?
Thank you, Liz. Good to be with you.